Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. We're playing Parklife. We've done this beautiful little park over here. Not little, it's fairly sizable. We've got the start of a nice little kind of downtown area over here. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a little bit more layout work. I'm going to try and lay out the rest of this area over here so that we can make use of connections to the other side, and we can just generally get this area to function a little bit better. Actually, try and get a little bit more stuff to the park and everything, a little bit more traffic on the roads over here. Okay, so if I have a look over here, yeah, this still needs to kind of tie in at some point. I'm not sure whether I might actually run this down this direction instead. I don't know. We'll have a look at that. But today's focus will be this section over here. I'm going to start on the railway line over here. I thought a nice station over here that can feed those areas. And then I'm thinking of taking it over the top here. It is slightly higher than this roundabout. So what I'll do is I'll start by grabbing our tool. No, that's not what I'm after. I'm after this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by dragging that out a little bit further. And then maybe even still a little bit further. And then I'm kind of thinking maybe I should tweak, kind of kink it into this direction over there. So if we do say something like that, and then do a little bit like this kind of thing right over there. And what we could do is we could feed into a final road that runs up here. So if I grab something a little smaller, maybe something like that, actually maybe even something like that, and what we'll do is we'll run that out all the way to the end there, and we'll probably do something with that, and we run this one in that direction. I think that works pretty well for us. Yeah, that's okay. We can even tie into that. Actually, maybe that is not a bad idea for us to do that. In terms of layout, I don't know. We'll get to that. But that looks pretty good. But what I was thinking is now we need a bit of a train station somewhere. And I picked up a new asset. This one here that actually allows for a road over the top of it. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to try and do that kind of right over here somewhere, fairly central. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And that'll be the terminus station, so it'll end right over here. That'll get it over the top of the roundabout and back down. And actually maybe what I should do is turn it around this direction a little bit. Yeah, something like that, so that we get the road a little bit further away. Right, like so. So if we do that, so there we go. That's our terminus station at the end. I believe that's a road that we need to put over the top over there. So let's grab a small road, and I just need Anarchy to be on. Yeah, so at that level, right? I'm kind of thinking we take that straight over the top of this one right there. Something like that, and over here this one, what we'll do is towards this side we will start dropping it down. Let's drop it down. How much do we have? 14. So 7, and it's 9 in the air. Okay, so we need to, so if we do 3, 5, we drop it like that, and then we drop it like that. Is that okay? We can. So what I'll do is I'll just do that and tweak it a little bit. Yeah, so that's much more natural. So now we've actually got this thing going over the top there, and I don't necessarily think that is how it's going to kind of remain. So let's get it a little smooth. Actually, that, to be honest, needs to go up a little. Yeah, this needs to probably go up a little bit, even more so here. Yeah, something like that. It's probably about as low as we can go for this bridge section. So that's pretty good. So I like the idea of doing that. We'll keep that there. So let's get the rail in this area quickly. So get me the rail. I'm kind of thinking what we need to do is get the rail probably as straight as possible. So we'll do that, and then we'll do kind of that over there. So that's our rail connection over the top there. We'll drop that back down, and we'll see about running it about as straight as possible in there. Now if we do this, anyway, we'll have to do, hang on, we'll just do kind of right over there. We'll tie it in there. Ooh, and that, to be honest, is probably the not great. So let me redo that section. So what I need to do is I need to actually keep it at just like 6. So if I do something like that, that is fairly smooth. So give me the M or the mover tool. So we'll start dropping it a little bit. Start dropping it something like that, and we'll just straighten this final section out a little bit, bring in this a little bit over there, and I think that is about right, just like that. So the same, we'll do a similar thing from this side over here. We will actually have to probably tweak it a little bit to do something like that, and now we'll need to let's do it from this side. Okay, actually over there. Okay, so something, wow, that's actually quite smooth. I think I like that as it is right over there, right over the top of the roundabout and into that final one over there. To be honest, this is a little bit tight of a corner right here, so what I'm thinking is we need to move things out a little bit. Is that okay? Yeah, I think that's fine. That's okay. We're gonna leave that be as is, and it's fairly smooth. And over the top of this, we've got our fairly decent clearances, but I do think what we need to do is bring this one up just a tad so it feels, yeah, I think that is absolutely perfect right there. So that's our rail connection to the end into a terminus station over there for this line. So we've got connections there and there, so that's pretty good. Now let's see, what are we going to do with our big further the rest of our roads here. I'm kind of thinking we'll probably give me these guys, and let's go with a little bit more of a straight section over here. Say something to about there, and then what I'll do is this. I kind of think we either kink that in this way, or we'll see about that. This one, on the other hand, I think that is fairly straightforward. Is that we're gonna need to run this one almost alongside here somewhere, but the problem that we're going to experience is that we're going to run into that. Okay, that's the other piece of road that we definitely want to maintain. So if we do something like, say, that, let's see, can we, for instance, instead get this to force it down? So if we run it a little bit more straight like that, I like that idea a little bit better. So what I'm kind of thinking we need to do is we need to get this thing to come back up into this direction, because we will need and I'm almost thinking we should have turned that out a little bit sooner. Let's go back all the way over there, and let's try it this time around to get back up a little quicker. How does that kind of work? Are we Are we making? Yeah, I like it. I think that's okay. We could smooth it out a little bit by doing a few little things like that. Just it doesn't have to be perfect. Roads are pretty standard stuff. So, but yeah, that's fairly smooth. Maybe if we up that a little bit. Yeah, that is a pretty smooth section right there. So that allows access over this into that direction. What I'm kind of keen on doing is seeing what we could do with this road that came over the top here. And on the other hand, I'm also keen to get this one, which is a bit of a 6-lane setup over here, to get that over the top over here. What I thought I would do is I would actually go into the 4-lane. Let's upgrade this section right there. And now what I'm thinking is we can get it probably about 6 high up to there. Okay. Oh, my bad. Get rid of that. Let's go for a bridge setup. Six high. And how high can we get? And something like that. So what I'll do is I'll have to move that up a little bit, and then I'm thinking straight across over here. Straight across over there, and then we'll tie into that. So if we look at what we're seeing right over there, I think that is fairly decent, though I want to raise this up a little bit. It's a little bit low over here. Not that this is going to be a high, this is a fairly low bridge anyway, but yeah, that's a little bit shocking. So what I think we need to do is also need to maybe grab that and that, those 3 points, and what I'll do is we'll draw it down just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, so that's a little bit nicer right there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that is pretty good right over there, getting it to dip down just a little bit as it goes there. Yeah, so that's pretty decent right there. Okay, now what I'm thinking, we'll probably need to try and run this there. Okay, so that's actually quite good. So what we'll do is we will trim this back a little, so we'll run it down in that direction. And I'm kind of thinking, do we do 6 lanes all the way, or probably have another road running through here somewhere? So maybe what we do is we grab something like this, drop it down. Okay, and we run something like that right there, and then what we do is we'll end the 6 lane. No, come on, give me my 6 lane. Down. Okay, forget about the 6 lane. We'll fix that piece now. So let's grab this piece. So what I'm thinking is we run this one, and I want this to immediately go down. Yeah, something like that. That's okay. And now let's see about a bit of a shape of like that. And we'll try and stick to the contours a little bit better. Something like that, so it goes around that little hillside. And how will we do that? So let's do something like that and then try and tie it in. Yeah, something like that is gonna be okay. Now all we do is we grab our 6 lane over here and we need to get that over there, but I don't like what we're seeing right here. Is that I think that's about far enough. I don't think we need to get further away than that. Let's just make sure to ground it as we do this. There we go. So that's a pretty decent down to the interchange over there. So we've got some extra roads here. The connections are pretty good. This thing probably needs to go over the top here. And we most certainly need yet another railway station. So we've got enough room to get it over the top. So let's do 6. Oops, let's drop 10 away there and let's make sure we fix that. So 6 and 12 and over the top and 6. Like so. And how shall we turn this out? Let's keep running it straight for a while. Say something like that, and then we'll let's see about the turn. We do that, how does that work? That kind of works. I like what we're doing it, so we can have some road connections here that does some tricks. Right over here somewhere I'm kind of thinking we need to put yet another railway station. So if we take out that a little bit, we'll grab our rail piece. Which one are we going to go for? We could again go for this one. Tie it in. Say something like that. It's not, we don't really have curved stations or anything. Is that a decent idea? Probably not, to be honest. Because we would need to actually try and get this to go down a little. Maybe that's not. Yes, let's delete. Ooh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. That's really very interesting. Okay, what kind of stations do we want to put in here? Maybe one of the others. Maybe we forget about the fancy station like that, and we'll maybe grab this one. Oh, it needs to be on a road. Oof. I'm kind of thinking maybe this, but I don't want to do one with the road access. So let's. What is that? Anything that doesn't need road access. They all need road access. It's only like these two that I have that doesn't need it. Yeah, that's a pretty decent spot right there. And it doesn't look too bad. I think that is the right spot. So let's grab the rest of that and we'll fix that quickly. And again, I would like us to at least get those to tie together over there. Perfect. So there we go. That actually doesn't look too bad at all. And again, here we can do something fairly funky with the road. Let's just get a standard little road over here. And we will straighten it out. Oh, let's make sure to give that spot a go. Okay, now I'm kind of thinking we need to get this to ground. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. What I'm thinking we need to do is grab the mover tool and bring it up a little bit, just so it kind of, yeah, that's pretty decent. That looks almost exactly like how we would do it in any case. So let's get back to the standard and let's get this one out that way. And now what we'll do is we'll start dropping it down. So like that and like that and like that, and if we tie that together there, that looks pretty good. Let's tweak it a little. Kind of thinking we need to just drop that a little bit over there and probably bring that up a little, and then that's going to be quite a decent little move right there. So that's the access point also, so we just need to bear that in mind as we do so. Okay, so that's a bit more layout piece over there. So what I'm keen on doing is seeing how best we get this to tie in, and probably what we need to do is run this one in that direction. So give me this little piece of road here, and what we'll do is we will start to kind of curving it a little to go downhill like that and like that. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And now what I'm thinking is we'll run it straight. Okay, so that's part of what we're doing there. We need to do a little bit of shaping. Well, not shaping. We need to see how best we get the road connections off of this. So let's see about getting some of these roads. So if we do say something like that, how does that work? Something like that. Okay, so those are some roads. So let's curve them a little. I'm kind of thinking let's try and run them on the as best as we can on the same kind of level. So this thing again will yeah, I think that's fairly decent. We may have to tweak it a little bit over there, and then again this thing will do something like that. So we'll have to tweak it a little bit to make it look a bit better over there. So let's see about if we do, yeah, so if we do something like that, just a little bit in there. Similarly, we probably need to get that one to go down a tad. And this one is actually pretty good, but we'll drop it a little bit like that. So that's fairly decent, and that's a bit of the how we're going to do the layout. What I'm thinking we should do is probably get rid of move it, and what we should do is try and do a little something like this. We could then again kind of tie it in. Yeah, how's that? That doesn't look too bad. So that as layout is pretty decent. What I'm thinking is we need to kind of do a little bit more contoury type stuff over here because it's fairly tight. Oh, and it would obviously be pretty good for us if we can to some extent not tunnel. No, I don't necessarily want us to. That's not going to work. So that's not going to work. Let's get the end of that. That's not going to work. So from a layout perspective, all we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to do say something like that. And what I'm keen on is let's retry that and try and get it to be as close as possible to actual grade level, huh? So if we do something like that, how does that look? That actually meanders pretty nicely up this hill. And I'm thinking what we do is we meander this back. We try and meander this a little bit back in the in that similar direction over there. So how does that work? That works pretty well. Really, that does work pretty well for us. Let's tweak it a little bit in terms of our radii and things like that. Just so we try and maximize our layouts a bit, as best we can at least. Move that out a little, move that out. Move this up a little bit, yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's gonna be, I think, a bit tight. We're gonna need to drop that down a little and that down a little too. Actually, that's probably better if we do a little bit like this. Yeah, absolutely. I think that does work. And if we turn that a fair bit, that's not bad. Okay, so that's a bit of a layout up here. I'm thinking in this regard that we should see about what else we can do. So we can lay this out a little bit better, but these, I'm almost thinking this has to be a bit of a suburb section over here. This section through here needs to be a little bit, maybe not a suburb section, but it's gonna require a lot more of these kind of funky little road connections to kind of make it kind of buildable, and you get some spots like that. So really, but this one we need to maximize what we're doing over here as best as we can, because that's not too steep. So let's actually start by doing a little bit more like that and see how that works. Yeah, that we can get a fair bit of density in here. So let's and the final one, let's try and do a little bit like something like that, for instance. I think that works pretty well. We can get a fair bit in there. This section over here is going to be a little bit tougher, so maybe what we do is we just kind of run a few of these out alongside like that to see if we can't. Yeah, we'll get a fair bit up here. Oh, this section is probably going to be tough. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to see about running a few like this maybe. Now that's probably not good enough. Yeah, so it's fairly challenging to do some layouts on these hilly type environments. We could link it up a little bit like that. Probably. Can we tie those together? I don't think that'll struggle to work, to be honest. That's very tight. Maybe what we do is we run this like that. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're doing pretty well in terms of doing a bit of a layout, and it's going to be fairly high density. I think it's going to be fairly high density. So it's going to have a lot of dead ends. So some of these roads are going to have a lot of pressure on them to in order to get all the traffic out. Of course, what we need to do is get some but that's fine, to get some of the connections over here, which we'll do. Okay, so this area here, I definitely want us to get this to be fairly dense. So this we can actually do pretty nicely, I would think. Get it to the right level. We could even run it in here a little bit. Okay, let's do about 10 that way and then about 10 this way, and then I can do it again. So something like that could work. So we have access to that side. Then I'm kind of feeling it to do something like this and tie those two together there. Yeah, that's pretty good. So it's an interesting layout here. It's a challenge. It's a very big challenge to get all of that working. And maybe what we should do is actually see about an extra little piece of road like that. Yeah, that could work. That could work. Something like that maybe. And then what we'll do, yeah, I think I like the idea of running it this way, and then let's switch to this tool right there. So we'll tie that in there. And actually this doesn't have to be as low as it is, so let's bring this up. This most certainly doesn't have to be that low. Actually, that works much better if we bring it up a little bit to natural ground level. So this one being a bit of an issue with natural ground level over there. Maybe let's tweak the location of some of this a little bit. Bring that in a little, bring that in a little. Nice, I like that. That works. That kind of works. So this is going to be an interesting little layout over here. Whether we'll actually do stuff on this side, I kind of think we probably won't. It's a little bit too steep. Then over here we can do a much more natural grid-like layout. So let's quickly grab this guy, and in a straight kind of maneuver, I want it to come down fairly aggressively. Like so. Is that decent? Yeah, I think on that road it's probably okay. Let's get it to turn quite, yeah, like that. Perfect. Now if I try and run this, let's do a straight line like that. That is pretty good. I like the idea of doing that. We can fit in another road in there, so let's do exactly that. We'll squeeze in another road like so. Okay, and let's bring that back over there, and then over here somewhere I'm thinking we need to tie this together. Actually, let's tie it in over here. So let's bring this down one more. And what we'll do is we'll trim that back a little bit so that now we can actually do something like that. How does that sit with us? I think that works. So let's I'm kind of thinking maybe we straight line it over there instead, a little bit away from the intersection. And what we could do is on this side we could actually meander it a little bit over here too. Give me this tool actually. So let's do that. That. Okay, and then maybe we'll squeeze it in. Be able to get that up there. Yeah, something like that. That actually, I think that's pretty decent, to be honest. That's a fairly decent and economical use of the area. So we did a little bit less layout than I thought we were gonna do. You know what I think? Let's quickly finish off this section by running it fairly straight in there, and then I'm kind of thinking fairly straight in there too. And what we'll do is we'll tie those two together. Like that. That is pretty good. I think that is a pretty decent layout for this. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of tie this one in over here. Just we'll straight line it in there, like so. And we'll probably keep it running like that. We can that straight line works pretty well. Let's quickly drop that down a little. It's just a little steep over here, so let's do that. That's pretty good. That is pretty decent. So there we go. That's a substantial intersection. We can fill out this area, we can fill that area, and we've got some pretty good road connections off the highway, not off the highway, and so on. We need to fill in over there a little bit. I want this area to be fairly dense over here. Fairly dense. I want this whole area to be fairly dense, to kind of act like it's a nice big downtown type area. What we could do with this one, we could actually run this one over the top over here somewhere, and it could potentially be another interchange. Though I don't. I think we may actually do something like that a little bit later. But yeah, there's a few things that we can do over here. Maybe we should even tie in this one over there. Get rid of move it, please. So if we tie that one in, say like that, how does that look? What I would do with move it though is I would actually kind of try and bring that up a little bit. Something like that. Or alternatively, what we need to do is we need to drop this down. Though I don't want it to look too funny. That's kind of okay. Yeah, that's okay. Let's leave it be. That may not necessarily stay that way, but yeah, then I think we've got a fairly decent piece. Oh, though, would I want those to link up as a bit of a loop here? Well, we've got the bigger roads over here. I think that's okay. We'll just now fill these areas in. So those are kind of collector and arterial type roads. Yeah, these are more collectors. Yeah, that's probably more of an arterial due to how it works. Anyway, so that's I think a bit of a layout. The way we're gonna fill in this area a little bit more. Some work required over here. Still a little bit of work required over here. I probably need to tweak this to kind of feed in a bit of a dead end over there required with a few pieces. Yeah, I think all of that, all in all, looking very good. Need to tie in the rail pieces. Yeah, so there's a few stations in here that I think works quite well to provide access. Some of these areas are not well served by public transport, so we'll have to make do with some other means in here. But we'll see. Maybe there's room for a bit of a tram network to run some of these routes. Yeah, we'll see. Once we get the layout done, we'll see how we do public transport within the layout before we then fill that out. Okay guys, so that's been it. If you've liked it, hit the button. Tell me what you think of the layout. Do you have any ideas about some of these things? How do you handle building on slopes like this? Is this the way you would do it, or do you have a different scheme of doing it? Do you just flatten the whole thing? How would you do this kind of thing? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.